"Your name isn't here," I whispered, my hands shaking. My son, the boy I adopted from foster care, the one I raised through scraped knees, school projects, and sleepless nights, had let his Wall Street fiancée decide I didn't belong at his most important day. I had quietly built a stock trading empire to give him the life he dreamed of. I funded his education, his first startup, even his luxury condo. And now he called me too old school. If this were your parent, what would you do? Would you stay silent or confront them publicly? Comment below, because this story isn't just about me, it's about respect, legacy, and truth. And before we continue, make sure to subscribe to follow this journey of betrayal, revenge, and empowerment. You won't want to miss what happens next. I was widowed young. My first husband died suddenly, leaving me with nothing but grief, a small queen's apartment, and an unshakable determination to survive. Alone, I vowed that my child, should I have one, would never face the same struggles. When I adopted my son from foster care at age 3, I promised him a future no child should have to fight for, not just survival, but opportunity. Love alone wasn't enough. I wanted him to thrive, to have a life most people could only dream of. I began trading stocks quietly from my tiny apartment. At first, it was slow, small investments, careful risk. I read financial reports, devoured books, learned the patterns that most people overlooked. By the time my son reached middle school, I had quietly amassed a fortune. I funded his education, his first startup, even a Manhattan condo. I never flaunted my wealth. I wanted him to value effort, perseverance, and grit. He thrived. Bright, ambitious, and endlessly curious, he became the kind of child every parent dreams of. I remember his first science fair, his high school graduation, and the pride in his eyes when he finally realized the world could be his if he worked hard enough. Then came Wall Street. His fiancée entered his life like a whirlwind, beautiful, brilliant, ambitious. She loved power and prestige, and I quickly realized she didn't understand family, loyalty, or gratitude. I tried to support their relationship quietly. I even liked her at first, until I realized she was shaping my son to believe he owed nothing to the woman who built his life. The day I saw the wedding invitation, I froze. My name wasn't there. I drove to his Park Avenue office, rehearsing every word I would say. I wanted calm, facts, and dignity, but when I arrived, nothing could prepare me for the scene before me. You're here?" he stammered, surprised. "I'm always here," I said, calm but firm. "You just didn't invite me to your wedding." His fiancée, perfectly poised, tried to explain, "Mom, it's not personal. We just want a modern, intimate wedding. You know, selective guests, small vibes." "Selective?" I interrupted. "I funded your education. I financed your startup. I built the foundation for everything you have. And now I'm erased from the most important day of your life?" I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder, bank statements, investment ledgers, and proof of every discrete check and loan. "This is your reality," I said. "I am not just too old school. I am the reason your empire exists." His face paled. I could see guilt flicker across his features, but his fiancée stood her ground. "Mom, it's complicated." "No, it's not complicated. It's respect," I said. Someone filmed our office confrontation. Within hours, clips went viral. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, my story spread like wildfire. Comments poured in. She's right. Respect your parents. How dare they? I felt empowerment mixed with heartbreak. NYC became my stage. Central Park in the background, the skyline reflecting golden sunset through office windows. It all looked cinematic. Every step you took, every chance you got, you owe to the sacrifices I made. If the roles were reversed, what would you do? The story spread beyond his office space. Social media lit up with people sharing their own experiences, stories of parents ignored, sacrifices overlooked, love taken for granted. I realized my pain had become a movement. I quietly withdrew financial support for his startup. Panic set in, calls flooded my phone, but I held firm. It wasn't revenge, it was a lesson. Respect, gratitude, and acknowledgement are non-negotiable. Social media amplified the story. I pinned another question. What would you do if your parent helped you build a life and you ignored them? Comments, debates, and shares skyrocketed. I also realized something crucial. This was bigger than money. It was about self-worth, about showing a younger generation that they can't erase the people who made them who they are. Every day, NYC reminded me of my strength, the skyline, the bustling streets, the lights of Manhattan reflecting my resilience. I was no longer invisible. The day of the wedding arrived and the city buzzed with spring energy. Central Park was decked in pastel florals, white tents, and the soft golden glow of a late afternoon sun. Guests arrived in their designer dresses, snapping photos and posting them instantly to Instagram. But my heart wasn't on the decor. It was on a mission. I stood outside the reception hall, clutching my leather folder containing every bank statement, every discreet check, every investment record I had ever made for him. Today was the day I would no longer be erased. His fiancée tried to block me. "Mom, you can't." "I'm not asking. I'm showing the truth." Guests began to notice. Phones were raised, some recording. The whispers started. "Is that his mother? What's she holding?" I walked towards him. "Do you know what you've done?" I said. "You've tried to erase the person who built the foundation of your life. You think success gives you the right to disrespect?" He opened his mouth, but I held the folder. "Let me remind you." I laid the documents across the reception table, the condo down payment, the initial startup loans, even the tuition for his Ivy League education. Everyone gasped. Cameras clicked. The social media storm had begun before I even spoke another word. The tension was electric. He looked around the room, finally realizing that the truth wasn't hidden anymore. His Wall Street fiancée's expression flickered between anger and disbelief. "You can't just—" "I already did," I said, voice calm but firm. By the time the wedding ended, without me being allowed inside, the confrontation had gone viral. Social media exploded. Clips of me placing my hands on the folder, stating facts calmly but powerfully, spread across TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and even news outlets. Comments poured in from all over the US. "She's 100% right. Respect your elders." This is why parents are priceless. The audacity of some people to ignore the sacrifices made for them. I watched the notifications flood in, realizing my story had become bigger than the wedding. It had become a symbol, a reminder that wealth, ambition, and status do not replace respect and gratitude. Even strangers reached out, sharing their stories of being ignored or undervalued. Some wrote about estranged parents, others about career-driven children who forgot the sacrifices made for them. I pinned another question for my followers. If your parent helped you build a life and you ignored them, how would you handle it? The engagement skyrocketed. Every story shared, every comment left, every like reinforced one thing: respect and acknowledgement are timeless, and social media could be used to remind people of that. Weeks passed. He called constantly, at first angry, then panicked, then desperate. Every call ended with him asking for forgiveness, but I held firm, teaching him an invaluable lesson. Respect and gratitude are earned, not demanded. One evening, he came to my apartment, the skyline of Manhattan glowing behind him. His expression was raw. No fiancé, no office entourage, just him and the truth. I didn't understand, he said, voice trembling. I thought I was doing the right thing, following her advice, but I see now everything I have, everything I am, I owe to you. I nodded. Yes, but understanding is not enough. Actions matter. Acknowledge the foundation you've built on and don't take it for granted again. He looked at the folder, then back at me, tears forming. I never wanted to hurt you, he said. I didn't see it. The moment was raw, cinematic, like a New York City movie scene, the lights of skyscrapers reflecting our reconciliation. I realized this story wasn't just mine. It was a lesson for every parent and child in America. Respect, gratitude, and acknowledgement can never be replaced by money, status, or social media fame. I shared my story fully online, and it became a movement. Thousands of messages poured in, people tagging their parents, apologizing for neglect, vowing to honor those who built their lives. My son, now humbled and grateful, began sharing his appreciation publicly. He posted a heartfelt message. To my mother, who built my world from nothing, I am eternally grateful. You are the reason I am who I am. I was blind, but I see now. The Wall Street fiancé? She learned that ambition without empathy is hollow. She apologized, eventually seeing the value in family over pure success. As for me, I stood on my balcony overlooking Manhattan, the skyline glittering beneath me. I had fought for respect, for acknowledgement, and for the truth. And I had won, not with anger, but with clarity, courage, and resolve. If you believe every parent deserves respect, subscribe and share this story. And comment below, what would you do if this happened to you?